Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to this wonderful session of Bhagavad Gita reading. So first of all, I would like to wish you all a very, very happy Sattila Ekadashi. Those who are new to this session, I would like to let them know that Ekadashis are very auspicious days of a month. Okay. And especially according to Indian calendar, which is based on the lunar cycle, there are two Ekadashis. Okay, the 11th day of the waxing moon or the waning moon is known as Ekadashi. And it is said that it's a very, very auspicious day. Any devotional service or an act of bhakti performed during this day, it can be anything, maybe chanting or some seva at your nearest temple or center. Okay. So that yields 1000 times more benefits than done on any ordinary day. Okay. So it's a very important day for not only ISKCON but for all the other Vaishnava Sampradaya. Okay, and what we do generally on Ekadashi is that we fast from grains. Actually, okay, we try to avoid grains today. Uh, Generally, we try to eat fruits, raw vegetables, and if you look up on the internet, there are loads of information available. Some people also come up with some really delicious recipes uh, without grains, basically. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Those who are interested and who are new to this, I would recommend them to please start following the Ekadashi Vrata every day. And we generally tend to engage the entire day, either in chanting some extra rounds, in reading the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other books, right? And mostly, the entire day is spent thinking about Krishna, his names, his qualities, his pastimes. Okay, and in this way we try to purify ourselves. So those who find this interesting, I would request all of them to start taking up this vrata. It comes twice a month. So, and fasting twice a month is also good for your health in general. Okay. So that was about Ekadashi. Coming back to our session, so we are discussing the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, right? And we had discussed till verse number 7. Okay, and we will continue from today. Verse number 8 and verse number 9 we are going to cover today. And because from verse number 10 onwards, there's an entire new section starting. So just wanted to end till verse number 9, and from next session onwards, we can start the new section within chapter 3. So before proceeding, I would like to chant some pranam mantras. Those who know can repeat after me while staying on mute, and those who don't can just follow or try to listen very intently, because listening is also very, very purifying. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघते गिरि यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। Paramanand Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Okay. So, a quick overview of what we discussed in the last session in the previous verses. So in the previous verse, verse number 7, Krishna said that a sincere householder is far better than a mithyachari or a pretentious sannyasi. Okay, and we saw a number of reasons, uh, to, why a householder, a sincere householder, is better than a mithyachari, and Krishna doesn't approve of any uh, unnecessary show of spiritual practices, which are not done seriously or which are not done in the right consciousness. Okay, and how is Krishna going to stress? And now in this verse, Krishna is going to stress that how the work should be done and why it is important for us to work. Okay, in this particular verse, verse number 8, we will see that Krishna is saying that working is much better than renunciation. Okay, so all those things we will see, and we'll then try to meditate on this shloka, and we'll try to understand the deeper meanings. Okay, so let me share my screen, and we will read the shloka first, and then we'll discuss. Like there's some issue with oh, I hope my screen is visible. Yes, like it. Okay. So verse number 8, it goes like this: Niyatam kuru karmatvam कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च तेन प्रसिद्धयेद् अकर्मणः. Translation: Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. Very important verse. I would read the translation again. These are the words of Lord Sri Krishna himself, and he's speaking to Arjun. And he's asking Arjun to perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. Okay, so Krishna is not in the favor of renunciation or renouncing your work. Okay, one cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. So we'll first try to understand what is the work, which Krishna is talking about, and why he is saying so. Okay, that why renunciation is not recommended, or rather, following one's prescribed duty is important. Okay. So in the purport of Srila Prabhupada, we bring the book here. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that there are two types of pseudo meditators. Okay, pseudo meditators means people who pretend to be the meditators and who are not actually, very serious about spirituality. Okay, so two types are there. So first type is that one who misinterprets themselves to be belonging to a very high parentage. Okay, like one may come from a very high saintly background. Okay, background of saintly family. Okay, but then, and they are very puffed up because of that. Okay, so yes, true, you may be coming from a lineage of a very saintly family, but then who are you, right? Are you equally serious, just like your other family members? Or you can be you might just be a pretender, correct? So, and such some people, they are actually pretenders. Okay, and they take undue advantage of their family line. Okay, so this is the first type. Okay, and the second category is the great professional men, basically. Okay, who falsely pose that they have sacrificed their entire life for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. Okay, so in other words, these are basically people who are using spirituality as a profession. Okay, and it is very common these days. Okay, especially towards the north side, like if you go. in India, there are so many, like these dhongi babas who have come up, okay, and people are being cheated, by them. So that is also a cause of concern, and uh, like you can find it yourself. Okay, I'm not going to mention anything, but yeah, then again, there are a lot of pseudo meditators. There are a lot of cheats who have just taken up spirituality as a profession, and then they are just cheating people and the innocent people, based on their faiths. So this is the second class. So an example of such kind of a person can be that, say, for example, there is a businessman, okay, and his business is not going well. So he thinks that, okay, let me close this business and let me try again something new. Okay, and what is that something new? Nothing special, especially in India. You just wear saffron robes, okay, be surrounded by some of your friends or maybe a few assistants, okay, and then just sit like this, okay, as if you are trying to bless someone, okay. Automatically people will start thronging towards your place where you have put up, and people can also charge a very nice hefty dakshina just for to get the darshan. And darshan of whom? A cheat, basically, right? A businessman who is just trying to cheat people, right? And there are even different categories of darshans. Okay, I have seen there's a normal darshan, executive class darshan, and then VIP class darshan, right? So normal darshan, like you can just have a darshan from very far away. Okay, executive class is that you can ask a few questions, but in presence of other people also. And VIP darshan is like personal, one-on-one conversation is also available. So such kind of things are happening actually, right? So we have to be very careful. And there are fools who get cheated, right? They think that, okay, oh, he's a genuine sannyasi, and oh, like he's a very pahucha hua baba and all those things, right? And they just like give a hefty dakshina, and this is how they are making their living. Okay, so renunciation for the purpose of one's own maintenance, okay, is never approved by Lord or by any religious scripture. Okay, people who are trying to maintain themselves like this are very much condemned, and the destination is only hell. Okay, they will be simply going to hell, and they will be rotting there for many lifetimes. Okay, for a very long time. This has been mentioned in the Garud Puran, and this has also been mentioned in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, last chapter. Okay, so those who are interested can refer to these two scriptures, okay, where elaborate description about different kinds of hellish planetary systems is given, and what punishment is awarded to what kind of bad karma. Okay, all these are given in details. So talking about further about renunciation, see, renunciation is okay, okay, if one does that for a higher purpose, okay, like for example to spread the message of Lord Sri Krishna all across the world. Okay, this is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to do actually, and our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, he did exactly that, right? He took the instructions of his spiritual master, okay, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as his life and soul, as his heart and soul. And then at a ripe age of 70, he renounced his family and everything, and he just went to the West, to the United States, and he made disciples over there, and he spread the message of Lord Chaitanya. Um, in the next 12 years, he just went all around the world 12 times, okay, and opened 108 ISKCON temples all around the world in almost all the major cities of every country. Okay, so such a renunciation is a true renunciation, and a person like Srila Prabhupada is a true sannyasi, is a true yogi. Okay, but like renouncing your work just for your own personal maintenance is, as I've said, not at all recommended. Okay, so Krishna in this particular verse actually is telling the same thing to Arjun, because Krishna doesn't want Arjun to be a pretender. Okay, he tells Arjun that he's a householder, he's a Kshatriya, right? He belongs to the administrative class. So better be engaged in the responsibilities of a Kshatriya, right? That means to take care of the subjects of his kingdom, okay, fight for dharma. Okay, fighting is one of the main occupation of Kshatriyas. So fight for dharma. Okay, and at the same time, be a nice householder. Take care of your family. Okay, and don't be pretentious. Okay, this is what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna. Okay, and why one should carry out these duties, by the way, like I just mentioned that he has a responsibility as a Kshatriya, he has certain responsibilities. As a householder, he has certain responsibilities. Why should we carry out these responsibilities? We will try to read from the purport. Okay? So here it is mentioned, such activities, means such carrying out the responsibilities, okay, gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. Okay, that means we all are contaminated. So this particular line is for all of us. Okay, especially in the age of Kali Yuga, the contamination is always there. Okay, and what is this contamination all about? We'll again further read. Okay, anyone who is in this material world is certainly possessed of impure propensity of lording it over material nature, or in other words, for sense gratification. Yes, all of us, we want to lord over this material nature. Okay, we want to be the limelight of, of every program, or everywhere we go, we want to be the center of attraction. Okay, that is the basic propensity, basic nature of each and every human being, man or woman, young or old, everyone. Okay, so this is our basic nature, and this is basically the contamination, what Srila Prabhupada is talking about. Okay, that instead of understanding our constitutional position, okay, that we are eternal loving servants of Krishna, we try to be Krishna, okay, in this material world. Okay, so this is the basic contamination. And what happens when such contamination occurs? When this contamination is there in our heart, what happens? It gives rise to five things. Okay, lust, anger, greed, attachment, pride, and enviousness. Okay, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya. And these are the five biggest enemies, okay, or rather five biggest roadblocks on the perfection of human life. Okay? So what is it? But like just before these discussions, I was saying that there are certain prescribed duties. Okay, even in the previous verses we saw, the previous sessions we saw that we spoke a little bit about varnashram system, and about the prescribed duties of each varna and each ashrama. Okay, so what is the prescribed duty for us? Prescribed duty for us, the people of Kali Yuga, we have discussed in the previous session also. Okay, that in Kali Yuga everything is a khichdi, is a mix of all the varnas and all the ashramas. Okay, but like every individual in this age of Kali Yuga, like he has certain qualities of a Brahmana, little bit of qualities of a Brahmana, little bit of qualities of a Kshatriya, little bit qualities of a Vaishya, and most qualities of a Shudra. Okay, so this is our situation. Similarly, there is no brahmachari ashram, there is no grihast ashram, there is no vanaprastha and sannyas. These are very higher categories. People don't even think about them these days. Okay, so everything is topsy turvy, as Srila Prabhupada used to say in the when he was here, when he was around in Kali Yuga. Everything is topsy turvy. So, what is the prescribed duty left for us? Okay, we don't know our ashrama, we don't know about our own varna. So, what should we do in that case? Right? The only thing that we can do in this age of Kali Yuga is to practice devotional service or bhakti. Okay, and the topmost bhakti or devotional service is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, we just chant this mantra, and it is very, very effective. Okay, it will cleanse us from within. It will remove all the contamination which is there in our heart, and it will help us to perfect our human lives. Okay, and why it is so important, the chanting? Because Krishna himself has confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. We'll read in the 10th chapter, going forward. Okay, that Yajna Nam Jap Yajyo Asmi. Of all the Yagyas, I am the Jap Yajna, or chanting of the holy names. Okay, so chanting is very, very effective, and this is what we recommend all of us, all of the students, or all of the devotees at ISKCON to do. At least chant 2 to 3 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. Okay, it hardly takes 7 minutes or 7.5 minutes to chant one round. I think none of us is so busy that we cannot spare even 15-20 minutes from our busy schedule for Krishna, right? We should do that. Okay. Now, the second question is that what should a householder do? Okay. Um, so we all are householders. At least in ISKCON, like 99% of the devotees are householders. Okay. And we have also seen in the previous sessions that the rules for the householders are generally little bit relaxed, as compared to a brahmachari or a sannyasi, because their rules are very stringent. But then that doesn't mean that I can show any slackness or lack of seriousness in practicing our devotional services just because we are householders. Okay, that is not acceptable. So we need to understand that what the householder needs to do. Okay, so the most important thing that a householder has to do is to keep Krishna in the center of his life, or maybe his house also. Okay. Yes, center of the house should not be a 75-inch 4K Ultra HD television. Okay. It should be Krishna. Okay, maybe an altar of Krishna where you have nice pictures, and yeah, and Krishna should be there in the center of everyone's life. Okay, and everyone in the house should serve Krishna in some way or the other. For example, a householder, they generally work. Householders, they generally work to earn a living in order to maintain their families. Okay. So what should they do? They should use their income or their earnings in the service of Krishna. How can it be done? It can be done in various ways. It requires a little bit of, thinking that how can I use this money so that it is Krishna should be happy with that activity. Okay, for example, we cook and cook for Krishna. Okay, offer that whatever we have cooked as bhoga to Krishna, and then take that bhoga as a prasadam. Okay, so that will cleanse us from inside. Okay, that is one way how to use. Secondly, very important thing: be very meticulous about your expenditure. Okay, do not just throw away your money whimsically. Always remember, the money that you are earning is Lakshmi. Okay, and Lakshmi belongs to Krishna. Okay, it's not ours. We have to be in that consciousness. Okay, so it has to be used in the service of Krishna. It has to be used very wisely. Okay, not just throwing away on anything that we just we're doing online shopping. We found something interesting, and just out of impulse we just go and just throw the money on that thing. We should avoid doing that. That is another important thing. Okay. Third thing which your family should do, that at least once a day, all the members of the family should come together either in the morning or in the evening, okay, and sit together for good 30 to 45 minutes, do some nice kirtan, okay, read the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam or both if time permits, okay. And once we do all these activities, then this will ensure a complete purification of our hearts, and the entire family will attain Sri Krishna at the end of their lives. Okay, so what can be better than that? Okay, so this is the ideal way a grihastha or a householder should lead their lives. Okay, so a little bit of discipline is required, but it's absolutely necessary, especially in this age. Okay, so this is all about the eighth verse of the third chapter. In the next sloka, we will see that how Krishna will tell us that how are we supposed to work, okay, and for whom we are supposed to work. Okay. So we'll move on to the next verse. And yes, in the previous verse, we saw that Krishna has spoken about the Karma Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga. Okay, Nishkam Karma Yoga means one should work, one should not renounce. Okay, that's what he said in the last verse. And how one should work? He should remain unattached, or should not remain attached to the results of his actions, of their actions, basically. Okay, results of that work that we are performing. So, but the question now arises that the results should be dedicated to whom? Okay, or one should work for whom? Whom should we work for? Okay, and another question, which might be there in most of the people's mind is how come working will liberate us from bondage? Okay, so these are some of the questions, and Actually, in this verse, a lot of questions will be answered. Okay, but these are some of the main questions, and one very important question, which was there in the mind of Arjun. Okay, is that in Mahabharata it is mentioned in one of the shlokas, a part of one of the shlokas is like karmana karmana badhyate jantu. Karmana badhyate jantu. Karmana means the work or the actions, activities. Okay, badhyate causes bondage. Jantu means the human beings. So now Arjun's doubt was that Krishna is asking him not to renounce work. He's asking him to work actually, okay? But the work causes bondage according to this shloka, okay? So what is the way out? What to do? It's a confusion, right, in the mind of Arjun. And thankfully he asked this, for the ultimate benefit of all of us, right? So Krishna addresses these questions and all the doubts in this particular shloka. We'll see, okay? And it's a very, very important shloka, okay, very practical one to implement in our day-to-day life. So let's read the shloka and then we will start the discussion. I'll share my screen again. Verse number 9, third chapter. It goes like this. Yagyarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Translation. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. And in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. I repeat, work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. Yes, very nice verse and a lot to meditate upon. Okay, so we'll go one by one. So, in this verse, Krishna says, Yagyarthat karmano anyatra. Okay, that means our activity should be dedicated to whom? Should be for whom? Yagya. Okay, and Yagya is another name for Lord Vishnu or Sri Krishna. Okay, if we don't do that, then clearly Krishna is saying here that because of one's work, a person will be bound to this material world through the karmic cycle, action and reaction. Okay, so in order to make you understand, okay, I'll try to give you a very simple example which will give you an idea about how complex and how stringent the laws of material nature are and how difficult it is to get out of this material world. Okay, what is this action and reaction? Okay, so someone who say doesn't believe in this, in these words of Krishna, okay, that work has to be done for satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu, otherwise work will cause bondage. Okay, someone says that, oh, I don't believe in this. Okay, then what will happen? So, okay, fine. If the work causes bondage, then I'll simply not work. Say someone says like this, someone has this kind of a mindset. So even if you choose not to work, say for example, a person decides not to work and just sit at one place. Even if you have to sit at one place, at least you will have to breathe in order to survive. Okay. You will have to drink some water in order to survive. You have to eat something in order to survive. Okay. At least these three basic activities we have to do. Okay. So even if one doesn't work, they will be performing these three activities. And say, for example, while breathing, there are so many small microorganisms which are going, through your nostrils within you, and then ultimately they are killed. Okay. While cooking, there are so many microorganisms who are getting killed. When we cook on fire. Okay. Or while eating. Okay. While drinking water, there are so many microorganisms which are getting killed. So these microorganisms are what? They are nothing but jivatmas in a yoni of maybe a bacteria or another some smaller microorganisms, right? So inadvertently, even if we are not doing anything, okay, we are incurring sinful reactions of जीव हत्या. Okay, जीव हत्या का पाप लग रहा है हमें every single minute, every single moment, every single second. Okay? And once we quit this body and we are presented in front of the Yamraj, this all Lekha Jokha will be brought in front of him. Okay? What will you do then? Right? Do you have any answer for that? You will be punished for Jeev Hatya. Yes, you will have to take that, karma, and then you will have to take birth again and suffer for those sinful reactions. Okay? So you see, even if a person decides not to work, just sit at one place, even in that scenario, they are incurring sinful reactions. Okay? You can just imagine how difficult it is or how complex it is to get out of this material world. Okay? This cycle of birth and death. Correct? So our only hope is this particular shloka, that work for Lord Vishnu and no karma will be incurred. Okay? By working for Lord Vishnu or Krishna, the person will be free from all bondage. Okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about the yajna. Okay? So what does a yajna mean? Yajna means sacrificial performances. Okay? And these sacrificial performances or yajna is done for whom? It is done for Vishnu, right? So I think in this purport, very nice, Vedic shloka, Srila Prabhupada is quoting, Yagno Vai Vishnu. Okay, that means yajnas are supposed to be performed for Lord Vishnu. Okay, and also in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in the 5th chapter, 29th verse, he says, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Okay, so Bhoktaram means I am the benefactor, I am the Bhokta of what? Yajna Tapasam. That means of all the sacrifices and all the tapasya, all the austerities. Okay, I am the benefactor, Krishna is saying. So, therefore, another name of Krishna is Yajna, or another name for Lord Vishnu is Yajna. Okay, so Yajna or any sacrificial performances has to be done for Lord Vishnu. Rather, every work that we do has to be done for his satisfaction. Otherwise, if we don't follow this instruction of Krishna, then our work itself will cause bondage and we will have to come back here, in this material world, and this cycle of life, death will go on. Okay. Another question. Okay. So, uh, yes, another question is that generally, what do? We worship Krishna, or maybe we worship any Devi Devtas, or uh, people who are little more advanced, they worship Lord Vishnu or Sri Krishna. Okay. So, worshipping is one thing. Okay. But in this verse, this verse is actually speaking about yajna. Okay. So are they same, worship and yajna, or are they different in any way? Okay. So Srila Prabhupada has given the answer to this question. Okay, we'll read from the purport. Just give me a second. Same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Okay, so there is no difference. Okay, whether we are worshipping Lord Vishnu or we are performing any yajna. Okay, Krishna consciousness is therefore performance of yajna as it is prescribed in this verse. So, as I have already said, in Krishna consciousness, what do? We actually work for Krishna. We dedicate all our activities, all the devotional services are directed towards Krishna. Krishna is in the center of our lives, right? And at the same time, we also chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay? So, it's a perfect way of actually working Krishna consciousness. Okay? So, it's the same. Worshipping and yajna, it has to be same. And for both worshipping and performing the yajna, the problem is in this age of Kali Yuga, we don't have time. Okay, who has a time? We would rather spend our times, in a nightclub, okay, drinking and dancing, or maybe sitting at home watching some horrible song or dance, right? But even thinking about yajna or worshipping these days is a challenge. What to speak of actually going out there and performing them, right? So How to do that? Okay, because see, finally, the ultimate aim of this human life is what? To break the cycle of life and death, okay, and go back home, back to Krishna. So how can we do that in this age of Kali Yuga? Okay, so again, the answer is there in the purport. Let me read. Therefore, one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Okay, this is how to do that. Okay, how to get rid of this cycle of birth and death. It's to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be a cause of bondage. Okay, for both good and evil work have their reactions, and any reaction binds the performer. Okay, it's a very important concept to understand that even the good work that we do here are binding. Okay, are binding us to this material world. Okay, and in the Vishnu Purana, I will come to that later, little later, about how the good work binds us. Okay, and but just one thing I would like to mention here is that in the Vishnu Puran, it is very nicely mentioned that Varna and Ashrama, okay, uh, and the prescribed duties of each Varna and each Ashrama, okay, are meant for the purpose of satisfying Lord Vishnu. That is the only purpose of this Varnashrama system. Okay, so if just one follows the prescribed duties, okay, then they can be easily liberated. Okay, gradually they can be liberated. But yeah, reading from this purport, how to break the cycle of life and death. Okay, okay, that one has to work. Okay, simple is that one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work in this material world will be a cause of bondage. Okay, both good and evil work have their reaction. Okay, so whatever work we do, okay, it has to be done for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu or Sri Krishna. That is the bottom line. Okay, and what if we don't do? Okay, clearly it is written here. Any other work done, okay, any other work done in this material world will cause bondage. Okay, so we'll be bound. Now a question arises that how does good work, bind us to this material world? Okay, I mean it's a punya karma, of course, so we shouldn't be bound by that, right? But no, even the good work actually binds us, and we will see how. Okay, a person might say that, say for example, that okay, I'm doing a lot of charitable things. I'm doing a lot of philanthropic activities. Okay, so it should be good, right? Should be good enough. No, it's not like that. The thing is that one has to ask the question that okay, you might be doing charitable things, you might be doing philanthropic activities, but is it done for the satisfaction of Lord Sri Krishna or Vishnu? If no, then reactions will be there. Okay. So both good activities and bad activities in this material world are bad, actually. Okay, because they will bind a person to this material world. The ultimate aim of human life, which is to break the cycle of life and death, will not be achieved simply by performing pious activities. Okay, until and unless any activity is done for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu, it is going to bind us, even if it is so-called good activity, by the standards of this material world. Okay, we'll try to understand this. Okay, so people will have to take birth again and again. Okay, so what happens that, say for example, if I perform some pious activities, what will I get? I'll get some punya karma or pious credits for that. Okay, but then again, to enjoy the results of those pious activities, we will have to come back here in this material world and enjoy. How is that done? That first, okay, we'll be sent to some nice heavenly planetary systems where lot of enjoyment and lot of sense gratification will be there. And once our past credits are over, we'll be sent back here in this material world, and then we will be taking birth in a very high class aristocratic family, very well educated family, very well to do family. Okay, and we'll be enjoying all the facilities of life, right? So that is the result of the punya karma. Okay, and what is the result of the papa karma or the sinful activities? We'll get the pap karma, okay, or the sinful credits. And again, after suffering for a long time in the hellish planetary systems, okay, we'll come back here in this material world and we'll have to suffer for that. Okay, maybe we'll be born in a very economically deprived families. Okay, where even meeting will be a struggle to make our ends meet. Like that. The education will not be proper. Okay, we will be caught in some legal issues or some other, what to say, abominable activities. So those things are there, and sufferings will be there basically. Okay. A lot of times we see that, okay, some people are born with certain kind of disabilities. Okay, and you know people generally start questioning God. Okay, that what have I done? Or maybe I haven't done anything. I'm a very innocent person, but why do I have to suffer? The thing is that we are able to only look at only our current lifespan. Okay, that to the present moment and the past. We don't even know about the future. Okay, based on that we are questioning. But Krishna is having the records of our millions and millions of lifetimes. He knows what we have done in the past. Whatever sufferings that we are going through is simply because of our bad karma, or bad activities that we have done either in this life or in the previous lives, or the good status or a comfortable life that we are enjoying in this material world. That is also because of our good karma or punya karma. That's a very important point to note, very important concept to understand. Whether you perform good activities or whether you perform bad activities, they both are binding. The good activities, if they are not done for the satisfaction of Sri Krishna or Vishnu, it will bind you to this material world, and to break the cycle of life, death, and rebirth will be a distant, distant dream. Okay, so we have to be very careful about that. So another very important point is mentioned here in the purport. We would read, nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. Okay, so it's a very important point. So nothing should be done for our own sense gratification. A very nice example, that I can explain here is the cooking. We cook almost every day at our homes, right? But we cook for ourselves, isn't it? We have to do very small adjustment. Okay, instead of cooking for ourselves, you remove yourself from there and you put Krishna in your place. Okay, so you start cooking for Krishna. Okay, so when we cook for Krishna, what happens? We offer that bhoga to Krishna, and it becomes prasad. Okay, and when we accept that prasad, it becomes karma free. That food is karma free, but it becomes prasad, right? So when we accept that, we are accepting karma free food. So that is how we can engage all our activities in service of Krishna and then make it karma free, right? So we are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, for the satisfaction of Krishna. But along with that, the person who is actually cooking and who is accepting that prasad, who is honoring that prasad, they are also getting satisfied, and there is no karmic reaction also, right? So isn't that wonderful? Such an easy thing, right? And just out of our ignorance, we didn't know that, so didn't know this so far, right? So when we satisfy Krishna, we are also satisfied. Okay, but when we try to satisfy ourselves, okay, then we get caught up in this cycle of life and death, in this action and reaction ka chakkar. Okay, so sense gratification, stop working for sense gratification. Okay, whatever you want to do, you do. Okay, there is no stopping that, but do it for Krishna. Okay, do it for the pleasure of Krishna. You cook for Krishna. If you want to eat something nice, if you want to dance, you dance for Krishna. If you want to sing, you sing for Krishna. You just have to apply your, like a little bit of intelligence, so that, okay, well, how can I dovetail this particular activity in the service of Krishna? But basically, whatever activities that we are doing in this material world, they all can be dovetailed in the service of Krishna. Okay? Once you do that, you'll be karma free. Okay? It's as simple as that. Simple though, but mind you, it's not easy. It requires a little bit of practice. Now, another question arises, what happens when a person starts working for the satisfaction of Krishna? Okay, that's what we read in the last part. Okay, so there are 2 or 3 things that happen. Okay, one, when a person is doing such activities, he's already liberated. Okay, how is it, how a person acting in Krishna consciousness or acting for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu or Krishna is already liberated? Because in the spiritual world or in the Vaikuntha Loka, okay, which comprises of the liberated souls or liberated entities, what do? They're always engaged in the service of Krishna. Whatever activities they are doing for satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. Okay. So when a person in this material world is also doing or also acting in a similar way, so then this action is not different from the actions which are being performed in the spiritual world. Okay. So the person here in this material world is also liberated in that sense. Okay. So first, immediately you will be a liberated soul. Okay? So that is one thing. Once we start acting for Krishna, you'll be a liberated soul. Second, person will be saved from the reactions of work. As I have said, your work will become karma free. Okay. All the reactions will be karma free because the work is done for Krishna. Okay. And once you do anything for Krishna, there is no reaction to it. सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य माम एकम चरणम व्रज अहम त्वाम सर्व पापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचा. This is the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, or the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, verse number 65. Okay, 65 or 66, right? Or 65, I guess. Yeah, Krishna says, okay, सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य माम एकम शरणम व्रज अहम त्वाम सर्व पापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचा. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. Okay, I will relieve you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Okay? Do not have any doubt whether I can do it or not. Do not have any doubt whether I will do it or not. I will do it. Okay, this is the assurance which Krishna is giving. Okay, so any work done for Krishna is karma free. Okay, and lastly, the person will be elevated to the transcendental loving service. Okay, of the Lord. He will be serving him personally by going back home, back to Krishna, either in some Vaikuntha planet, or if he is a Mahabhagavat, if he is a very top class devotee, then he will be eligible to enter the Golok Vrindavan, okay, where Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani reside and perform their eternal pastimes. Okay, so this was all about verse number 9. Now a question arises that, okay, fine, it asks me to work for Krishna so that we can be liberated. Okay, but how to do it? Okay, how can we work for Krishna? I mean, can we do that whimsically according to our own thoughts? Okay, I think that this activity will be pleasing Krishna, so let me do that. Does it work that way? No. In order to work for Krishna, one has to take the guidance of an expert spiritual master or a guru. Okay, it cannot be done whimsically. So at least try to get a spiritual master at some point in your life. Okay, Diksha Guru. Okay, basically, so to guide you. If not, then at least try to get a Siksha Guru. Okay, Siksha Guru is someone who will impart you the knowledge of the Vedic scriptures, and according to Vedic injunctions, he will guide you, on the path of Krishna consciousness or on the path of God consciousness, basically. Okay, he's a mentor, he's a guide. Okay, so at least take a Siksha Guru immediately. Okay, or and then over a period of time, when you think that, okay, certain amount of spiritual maturity has been reached, then one can think of getting initiated by a spiritual master or a Diksha Guru. The person who is already engaged in the loving service of Krishna can help us to be engaged in the loving service of Krishna. Okay, so only a person who is completely engaged in the loving service of Krishna, only he can guide us, okay, to understand what to do and what not to do. Okay, so this is all about verse number 9. Okay, I hope you all like this session. Okay, in the next section, from verse number 10 onwards, another section altogether starts, where Krishna gives us a very nice ladder. Okay, the yoga ladder, basically, and it all starts with the karma kanda. The bottommost rung of that ladder is the karma kanda, where one is working for their own sense gratification. Okay, and then just by climbing this ladder step by step, gradually, okay, this ladder will lead us to the platform of working for Krishna, okay, which is mentioned in this verse, how to work for Krishna. So we'll see this from next session onwards. So if there are any questions, just please feel free to ask them. Okay, we have a nice WhatsApp group. where one can ask the questions, and I will try to provide the link in the description box, or you can get in touch with ISKCON Whitefield or ISKCON Kannamangala. You can get my contact also, and once in the WhatsApp, if you are in the WhatsApp group, you can personally interact with me as well. I would be happy to answer the questions. Okay, or if there are any questions, you can post them in the comment sections. Okay, so please feel free to do that. If uh, the question is a very important one, and if it is going to benefit a large number of people, then I may create another video, just to answer that question. Okay, so thank you so much again for joining this wonderful Bhagavad Gita reading session. I'll see you all next week. Till then, Hare Krishna.